looks like here we have Joseph Bogley, who was actually my player to watch going into this weekend against
Go for the Grand
Christopher.
Wignall Chainlink 1.
Okay, so branded Radiant Typhoon, I kind of get it, but Psyframe branded.
Yeah, Psyframe branded. I imagine it probably just means that
The
he's
Gamma package,
incorporating
everybody?
or Delta. Let's see here.
And with that, I will attempt
We
to
are tuning in at the beginning of this
Go
pretty
to the
much.
end
Again, only a
phase,
few minutes
and
off
I
the
will
clock
bring
here.
back
It
the
looks
Ecclesia.
like Christopher has basically set up some
will
standard
then
branded
go
combos, bringing back
for
Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon.
the
And such a
Cartesian
great
Graveyard.
card,
Yep,
you know,
that
really
hand.
giving you access to Blazing Cartesia, but it looks like
then
he's already done this. This must
We
be
will
the
go for
longest
the
end
Dragon
phase in
Devourer's
the world.
Dogma.
Yes.
Yeah, so it looks here. So I guess this is a talking point. We weren't able to actually physically see
Adding
this,
the
but I'm going to
Fall
make an assumption about what happened. I assume earlier in the turn, the Fall on the Virtuous
Yeah,
was
I should've
activated,
not shuffled
You're
it, then
fine. Yeah, you're
Albion.
good. Yeah, yeah.
and Dogma was sent to the graveyard,
Yeah.
as opposed to actually sending Albion. And it's an interesting decision there because when you send that to the graveyard, as opposed to actually sending Albion, the Fallen ends up going to your hand. And then you actually have to activate it again
Going
so that
for,
you can destroy
I think we
one
are
of your
just
own
going to
cards
end up,
and then send the Albion
adding the
there
branded
so that
Revenant
during
hand.
the end phase you get to set the Fallen for the following turn, and that hedges against your opponent having
And
something
then
like a Zuna,
be
Holisu,
there.
anything that could be activated in the main phase once your plays are over.
And then
That
we
way,
will
if you
go
do have to search the Fallen and the Virtuous, you can still use it as a quick play from your hand, and it's not just
branded in
automatically
red,
set. So you'll actually see a lot of players this
the
weekend
Fallen of the White to add
put
it to hand.
the Dragon that Devours the Dogma first, as opposed to Albion, which can be a little bit surprising to people if you're not familiar with that interaction or that just sequencing.
We are quickly seeing the impact of Burst
banishing
Protocol here, and I feel like
the
the Fallen
Allure
and the
and the
Virtuous
Fallen
is
of the
everywhere,
White.
but so is Radiant Typhoon because
Go
so
for
many people are
Lebellion.
throwing quick play spell
Then I
cards
will
on the field like
go
they're going out of
Chainlink 1
business,
Lebellion,
and
discarding for cost.
you know the Fallen and the
Uh,
Virtuous is a quick play spell card, and so
I
is Brandon
suppose
Red. There's
just
so
another
many, so I'm
Cartesia.
very curious to see
Then spin it
Joseph's
back.
turn. If he's your
Yes.
player to watch, Joe, this is gonna be a good one.
Yeah, one thing I will say that might be unfortunate is it did look like
Two in
Christopher
hand
sent
now, correct?
Archlord Christia
Yep,
to the
yep.
graveyard at some
Oh,
point
yeah.
this
I
turn
didn't-
with
I
his
didn't
ring and all.
realize I
That's
was gonna
typically
include
You're
that.
good. Don't worry about
one
it.
of the most common outcomes,
Rigid.
or Invader of
Then,
Darkness, which, knowing that Joseph's playing Radiant Typhoon, that's certainly a card he
I
doesn't
will
want to
go
see.
for,
So it is possible that Christopher
Fallen
here is going to be able to
Virtuous,
set up
target the Christia.
a sequence where he's able to special summon back exactly Archlord.
Oh,
then
and
I
he's
will
just
attempt to
using
use
the
a
Monster
Ecclesia effect
Reborn
to add
style
down.
effect
Yeah.
of the Fall of the
This is an
Virtuous.
interesting
No
pathway.
combo here. You don't
Yes, you're
even
good.
need Albion.
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay, so Duelist, let's imagine you haven't lived through Archlord Christia. No one lives through Archlord Christia. Neither player can special summon monsters.
Draw face.
Nope.
But let's see what
So
he's
the
got.
hope would be is that he has Forbidden
Good.
Droplet or his copies of the Fallen and the Virtuous.
Taking a look at
There
Grand
are
Duel.
ways around this. It's not a complete... It's not like Gimmick Puppet, I'll put it that way.
Oh, yeah, that's fair, because Gimmick Puppet added that lingering condition. At least Archlord Christia is on the field, and you can have its effect negated, you can destroy the monster, banish it, return to the hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, it if it's destroyed, sent to the graveyard, just go back to the top of the deck, so kind of a soft little Yatagarasu time seal, stymieing your opponent's tempo, right? They're going to draw that same card, so they're not getting anything new to their arsenal.
It also means that if you were to get it off the field, he wouldn't be able to revive it again. There are, ways that this deck can just revive from the graveyard. For example, if you were able to
Taking
get
off target.
Sanctifier Dragon on the field.
Well, we've got our Fallen of the Virtuous. Looks good in Branded, also looks good against Branded.
Target the Archlord Christia.
Yep.
I really want to watch Christopher's reaction
That will
here
get
when he
back.
first
I might
sees the
respond
Radiant
to this first.
Typhoon's
Oh, okay, my
cards.
So it actually looks like he has, Bogley here has
Resolve.
both of the cards that I would have wanted him to have to get through this board.
Thinking on
You know,
resolution. If
I'm a little partial here. He is my player to watch for the weekend here.
we will
But he has
go
Droplet in his
for,
hand. That's why he paused there.
Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon effect.
That's fine.
So, banishing Ecclesia of the Dark Dragon. I assume we're going to bring out a Blazing Cartesia from the deck here so we can threaten the Fusion Summon, but maybe not. He, Oh, just the
Oh,
Mercurial to
Mercurial.
banish from the
Negate
field for the
wall. You can
negate.
It's on the field too. It can negate, right?
Yeah, as long as I control a fusion monster that
Yeah.
mentions Fallen of Albaz as a material.
Okay.
Great job there,
And
Bogley,
tributes
just
for cost.
double checking because
okay.
typically you see Mercurial
It
sent
doesn't
from hand to the
tribute, it's
graveyard
sent
as a
back.
hand
Okay.
interaction,
Yeah.
but its on-field effect is
Thinking
also
here.
applicable here, and that's also something useful to watch just for anyone at home that your
Special summon
Ecclesia
to add a Radiant Typhoon
can
spell
actually
or
do
a
that.
Space Typhoon.
Look at the face. He's considering, okay, this is a Radiant Typhoon deck too. I got to stop that
Negate and destroy or
immediately.
just negate.
It just negates.
Yeah, that just negates.
So we're
I
gonna
like to negate the first action against Radiant Typhoon if it's a monster.
That's fair
if it's
because that
something-
kind of tells that they don't have, like, Ascendance or Chant or something like that.
No response.
Okay.
Like Vision, I'm not going to negate a lot of the
Special summon
times.
effect to add.
This deck, I think, sometimes only has one
for a second,
true
just
starter.
adding,
And
Radiant
even
Typhoon
though
monster
drawing
or
2
Mystical
cards
Space
with
Typhoon.
vision
Yep.
could certainly dig into more, I think this deck has one of the higher chances that if you stop first action that it's actually unable to play through.
Well, you talked about starving the opponent out of options. Would you use the Mirror Jade here to prevent Link summoning the Varroon Link 2 monster?
No, I don't necessarily think that that's where I would consider doing it.
Okay. Well, let's see what the other Joe decides. He added Crocea to the hand there. Plenty of options.
This is
And
unknown
there's no Mystical Space
information.
Typhoon in the graveyard
Crocea
yet.
it triggers on a quick play being used, right?
On the resolution of the quick play, yeah, on either side.
Sounds good.
So both players
I
just
will
deciding, okay,
attempt
it's
to
going
go Mirror
to
Jade.
trigger on the resolution of a quick play spell card. We added,
sending for
so
cost.
it's already ready. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and use the Mirror Jade. And we are
Lenatus.
sending.
Okay.
I'm thinking on cost.
Albalanatus.
Been a while since we've seen him.
Well, he's a pretty big piece this weekend with Fallen of, like the actual OG Fallen of Albaz.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
You can, I mean, we're playing against a form of a lot of Draco Tail everywhere.
We
You
are.
can turn into that pretty abruptly.
No response.
Remember
with
the first time
with the
did-
new one as well, but in the
Bandage,
theory you could like,
um,
set and bluff against Draco Tail fields that you might potentially have Albalanatus in your extra deck.
Remember the first time that happened to me while I was playing a Dragon deck. It
Special
feels weird. They set, and then all of a sudden your field just disappears. But more special summons coming down from Joseph, the full complement of low-level Radiant
Having Call by the
Typhoon
Grave.
monsters,
Yep.
and now doing Call by the Grave
Yeah,
on
so-
top of it.
I was thinking maybe one of the reasons
Target.
he kept
Yep.
the droplet in his hand earlier, not that there was necessarily even a need to use it, was that he needed the quick play for this. But
Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 Megala.
yeah, look, this is a great chain block now.
Keeps the Crocea well protected. No response there from Christopher.
Yeah.
Just the tempo of this deck is incredible. And I feel like it snuck up on us. You know, it came out first in Doom of Dimensions, and duelists were interested in it. It was playing a lot in Genesis format.
Yep.
Or is it a Radiant spell? My
But
apologies.
then, you know,
My
I think
apologies.
people started to respect
Okay.
it. Obviously,
So
new
then
cards have
Chainlink
come
1, I
out.
apologize.
You know, having
Just Chainlink
the
this,
Radiant
I apologize
Typhoon
for that.
mandate being added into the fray.
that was-
Finally, it's no longer a joke to
Like
wonder
on
if
something?
Mystical Space Typhoon negates or not.
Okay. I got
Yeah, just a clarification there that the Magal needs it to be a Radiant Typhoon quick play spell, not just a Radiant Typhoon effect.
That is correct. I'm going to grab Radiant Typhoon Chant out of the deck and
Mystical Space Typhoon.
Resolution.
No.
Is that like an original ultra rare too? Man,
It
you
looked like
showed
it
up.
actually may have been one of the dual terminal sets that have come out. It didn't
Oh,
necessarily look
neat.
like an original. I will say though, the fact that this deck
Chain
is
to add a monster.
where it
Yep.
is in our competitive scene.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a playset of Ultimate Rare Mystical Space Typhoons for what seems like a generation, so it's we'll be able to dig those back out.
Yeah.
But now we see him activate and search out. Looks like Swen.
Oh, and there's Phonics.
There's Phonics, yeah.
Everybody's here. This almost may be enough just if he's able to get rid of the Mirror Jade or react to it. He does have that Forbidden Droplet in hand, so at a moment's notice he can activate another quick play spell card.
Yeah, I really love now he's just maintained Droplet in his hand this whole turn as well. So now he's been building up resources both on field and hand.
Is that a Forbidden Crown there too?
I don't see
I can't
it.
quite see the art. It looks like he's about to play whatever I think he's got.
Oh, activate.
Okay,
Okay,
there's
no, it's
that.
just another droplet. My bad.
Mystical Space
There's Mystical Space Typhoon. Okay.
negate.
Sure.
Effect. Target.
That's fine.
Shuffle back.
All right, now he's shuffling them back. Yes, very good here.
Big bodies on the field shows you why this
Well,
deck
because
is so strong. And
See, now we're going to go to Maroon.
Varroon, here she is, the only one we
Light.
don't
Oh,
have.
the Great Fly. This is a cool one. This is an out sometimes to Liger, just with the attack threshold changes that happen.
Yeah, that
but
makes
here,
sense, yeah.
Here, he just might be able
Yeah,
to
in a battle.
put in
Yeah.
enough win
Yeah.
monsters on the field and
Wow.
attack for game.
Great
Thing
fly.
about
put it-
Christopher, you know, we are going to see Fallen of the White Dragon all over the place this weekend. I think many duelists have decided that it should be incorporated into Draco Tail. Here we see Christopher, though, just loyal to sort of the original branded, Despia
All right. I
with some
will be
Bestial
going
strategy. So this is a little bit
stand
more
by
of a
into the main
flashback
phase.
relative to what you would anticipate seeing. It's using
Start
new
the turn with the
cards,
branded
but it's
fusion.
going back to a deck strategy that
Change Charming
had been
Pearls.
around for a period of time prior.
I'm a
That's
big
fine.
fan of go with what you know, and I've entered tournaments sometimes too where it's the first weekend that a new set is legal, or the first major tournament where a new set is legal. Maybe you don't have the cards, just play what you got. Maybe you'll do okay. It's just like, well, I didn't see it this
Sending
duel, but I
Rebellion
still
Salvas
won.
to the
Same
graveyard.
concept. And Fallen of Elbaz is obviously very powerful. It has lasted for years and really never gone out of style.
If you are a master of
on
Branded, I think you
effect.
can easily
not be
top
using
8 this
Albion
event,
effect.
because
You have
when that
his
deck is
thing
played
here.
to its
Nothing
absolute ceiling, it is very challenging to defeat.
Well,
And here
and
we see
because-
one of the
Anything
more
here.
iconic plays from even a
I'll
couple
use
years
Lubellion
ago,
as
sending Lubellion to the graveyard, getting out Albion. Now you can use Lubellion. This is going to place the Branded Lost on the field. You have the Albion now that's going to resolve during the end phase. So this is kind of one of the more iconic
Oh, yeah,
opening
of course.
plays that
Thanks.
we saw years ago.
Well, you mentioned the branded mirror matches or playing pure branded, running into all the stuff. First off, branded
Alright,
loves branded. That's
and-
always a good mirror match for branded, and being able to use those materials or super polymerization. But usually the duelist who manages to win is the one who gets
I
the brand
will
loss, because
attempt
you
to
get that
leave
extra
this.
advantage. So the fact that he's playing
We'll
some of
go
the
for
classic
Albion.
staples and it's not quote unquote watered down by Draco Tail, yeah, I actually think that Christopher or decks like his are going to make it all the way to the top.
Yeah, you get to play cards like Branded in Red, which is, for instance, one of my absolute favorite cards in the Branded strategy. It was a card when this deck was first years ago, even
Branded
before
in
Branded
Red.
Fusion was printed. Integral.
That one can be
And then
played
you would
whenever,
combine
not
it with
just the main
Guardian
phase.
Chimera for a period of time
whatever.
as just a
Yeah,
super
this one can
control-based
be,
and replenishment
whenever.
card.
Okay.
So if you're playing Draco Tail, you probably are not including Branded in Red. If you're playing the more dedicated Branded deck, as we're actually seeing here, Christopher said it during the end phase with his Albion effect, you
Here
get to
we go.
include that card. So it is, a push and pull.
No shade on the Draco Tail players. That's a great deck, too. It's
draw
funny, every
this.
time you said
Thinking
dedicated
no.
branded, it's like, well, they're not they're dedicated. They're just using just the branded cards. Pure branded. Well, they're not
Yeah.
pure. Draco Tail's still good, but
Now,
it's
Draco
tr-
Tail is plenty good. I'm just saying that Christopher has gone in a direction where he's
You
incorporating,
Are good to go.
whether it's the Courier, the Bestials,
Mm-hmm.
Branded Lost, cards that you just don't get to fit really into the
Man, what a
the Draco
weird
Tail
field,
variation.
though.
But-
Reset, Branded Lost, 2 in hand.
He was playing under Fualos, so
Stand by.
it is
Yeah,
clear
that's
that
true,
he ended
that's
up
true.
making a decision to go a little bit lower to the ground. So here we have a Mystical Space Typhoon. So he's going after what is considered one of the blind ones, right? He knows where the Branded in Red is, and he knows the Branded Lost is clearly on the field. So he's going after one of the ones that he's unaware of. Must mean he's not afraid of Branded in Red
Trigger's fine.
or Branded Lost, and this is now obviously
Jenny
going to allow him to activate Christia. I have to imagine all of this is happening in the draw phase.
Probably the safest way to be, although I will say he has
Ooh.
just great accuracy, great aim hitting that solid
Yes.
warning there, because that would have stopped the Crocea
Resolve.
dead cold. And now he's burned off the Crocea for his Forbidden Droplet, which allows him to, of course, since he's adding Radiant Typhoon cards, he may have just triggered himself another one. But
It should
searching
be
in the
noted-
deck here. Oh, go ahead.
That just with Crocea, there's a few ways that you can play around cards like, Infinite Impermanence, Ghost Mourner, these types of cards with your Fallen and your Forbidden Droplet, though they don't always necessarily line up. Crocea has an interesting effect where it cannot be destroyed by card effects while your opponent controls no spell or trap cards. So if you actually were to activate Infinite Impermanence, that puts a spell and trap card on the field.
I'm
So
going to
certain
think
of
on the
those hand
res.
interactions don't line up quite as well, depending on exactly the situation. Droplet kind of trumps all
No
of
quick
them, though.
effects my side.
But if you were, for instance, trying to protect your Crocea with Fallen and the Virtuous,
will
it depends on whether or
go,
not your opponent
Branded
activated
in red,
Infinite Impermanence
targeting
that will put a
Albaz.
spell trap card on the field, or something like
2 in
Ghost
hand.
Mourner,
Yep.
which obviously there would be none on the field.
Joseph definitely taking a different tempo here, by
He's
the
nice
way,
with
adding the Vara Rune from the deck to the hand. Of course, that is the big body negate
Trigger.
of Radiant Typhoon, and that quick play
Yeah.
just triggered it.
Yep, so that's 2 games in a row now. We actually had Call by the Grave, which has always historically been a really
Maybe there's
great
one.
counter
Very
to
good.
Branded. You can use it
Banish Shield Bearer to add.
potentially against a target for Sanctifier, or like the target that is the most
Elbow.
scary in the
Yep.
graveyard, like Arch like
Res-
Christia, or
Nope.
here on Branded in Red.
Special effect.
Yep.
Looks like we're going to use the special effect. Seems like we have run out of cards here on Christopher's side. He's got his hand set face down, defense mode, as he basically watches his
Special
opponent do a
effect,
lot. And we know that he doesn't really need that many monsters on the field to close this game out. So Joseph may be on his way to winning round 2 here at the YCS. 2 of 15, by the way. It's going to be a big tournament, right? 9 rounds today and 6 tomorrow of Swiss. And then we got our top cut.
And I just love the pace that Joe is playing at, too. It's, it's really indicative of his understanding of his strategy. We saw him really break a very challenging board in game 1 and do it at just a fantastic pace. Sometimes when the boards get complex like that,
Yeah.
play can really slow down. That really has just not been the case here. He's been very fluid the whole match.
It is certainly
Okay,
difficult
Mr.
to internalize the whole game, but no, he definitely knows his stuff. And so now he's brought out his Great Link Monster here and is going to go ahead and add even more Radiant Typhoon cards. Of course, Mystical Space Typhoon, an honorary member among them. I love that that's the direction the game has gone, right?
Special.
Soon we're going to have Call the Haunted be back on the field. And that's going to be
Yeah.
exciting too.
Someone from Grave.
Yeah.
So now he's going to try to summon back from the graveyard. with Ascendance.
It's got to be
Now
6 or
also-
lower, yeah, so there we go.
Chinlink 1, Chinlink 2.
Summon
Yeah.
from his deck, and then now he's also going to be able to place the Mandate face up on the field. So this is really the snowball effect that the Radiant Typhoon strategy can implement.
We haven't seen the Radiant
Affect the
Typhoon
shuffle and draw.
mandate
Yep.
on the field yet, at least this duel. We'll probably see it throughout the tournament, but having that shuffling back the quick plays effect kind of reminds you of True Draco. We know how
Yep.
good the grind game of that deck is too. But having that secondary interesting effect that when you activate Mystical Space Typhoon, you can target a card on the field and negate it, that's different. That's I don't think there's a lot of effects that we have that change things other than like Labyrinth, where it kind of
Yeah.
adds an extra effect on there too.
It is great, though, how many quick
Activate
plays synergize well into the deck as well, just by virtue
Okay,
of
yeah.
allowing
Yeah,
him to
and then
draw
your
by
chain,
putting back cards like
affect the shuffle
Droplet. So now we're going to see him bounce the Lubellion back into the deck. He still has the Monster Negate with Vortex on the field. Are we going to do some great
link
fly
away
math
from a great
now?
flag? Yeah, that's where my mind went.
Here
Oh
it
my
is.
We're all
gosh.
getting 3 and 5, so getting 800.
Look at the smile on Christopher, though. He knows it's coming.
2,000. Enter battle.
Yep. Yep.
Type again.
Great fly brigade.
There's the
2 duels
handshake.
in a row.
Followed by